Alright, Checkmarine back here again, or Black Temple, I'll be watching this on A4. So, can't find my gray. My silver, rather. So, here's what you do when you can't find a color. You make said color. So you're probably wondering how the hell you make silver. How do you make a metallic color? So, what you take is old nasty generic silver color, like I've got here, which I think I just sprayed everywhere. Hopefully not. Just here. And mix up the colors. Because really all we want is the shiny pigment. We don't really need necessarily the color. We can make a dark gray color, but we do need the shiny kind of pixely kind of stuff to emulate like a metal, like a bare metal. So just basically drop some of our base coat in with some watered down metallic color, and we'll see what that looks like. It looks pretty okay to me. Drop in a little bit more of whatever this is. Once again, just trying to get the flakes, basically, and this is what we're after. Here we go. That really lightened it up, and this is what we're looking for. Alright, cool. So, got the consistency that we want, but we also have that metallic shade now. Start dropping this all over the bottom. Basically all the bottom bits. Probably use a bigger brush for this. Just flat all this up. And start flooding this whole back end because it's basically all one color. And this part does not have to be perfect in the least, because this stuff is all going to get weathered really heavily. So it's okay if you get this stuff everywhere on this part, just like I'm doing. If you're unfamiliar with what weathering is, basically battle machines and weapons and things like that are going to get messed up by the weather, day-to-day use, and by just being dirty. Mechanical things in nature will leak fluid, they'll, have rust on them, things like that. And so what we're going to do is simulate those effects with a process called weathering. And after this is all base coated, because the color has to be underneath. You have to have, like, just because you have a machine painted a certain color does not mean it will not be weathered, obviously. Things are going to get dirty no matter what. So you do want to make sure that you have a base color. And then you can put all kinds of weathering over it. And I am just putting this stuff everywhere, as you can see, to make this look as even as possible. I have watered it down, like I said, slightly to help it move into all the recesses and stuff. All the places on the model that I cannot get to. And that is helping immensely, by the way. And start on the engine block. This is really going to be dirty as hell, this engine block, so I'm going to put the best base coat I could on this, because underneath all of the weathering, it would really suck to see black coming through because I didn't get the base coat everywhere. It really messed with the realism. It'll break your immersion instantly. So I'm just hitting this silver color basically on all the mechanical parts that are not painted already. So all these gears, all these actuators, all these piston deals, all this stuff has to be that silver color, basically a bare metal color. And moving right along, kind of coming back to this stuff that's almost dried up now. There we go. Since we haven't put on the other arm, and it has to be this silver color, I'm going to do that right now. Set that down. Pick up this here and hit all this mechanical stuff. Try not to get paint on the parts of the arm that are going to connect, that you're going to glue, because you don't want to paint areas that you're going to glue, because then it won't stick to the metal. The metal won't bond to the metal. You'll be sticking metal to paint, and then it will come apart, and you'll have all kinds of terrible things happen to you. There we go. Real quick. I want to see how this looks on the sword. I'm just going to throw it on there just cause, really. Just real quick swipe. It's kind of neat. Go ahead and put it on both sides. When it dries, we'll see how it looks. There we go. Just like so. Set that down. Okay. Let's check on all our silver bits coming out nicely. Real nice and grungy too. Okay. There you go. Okay. Go ahead and let that dry. Have a look at this other stuff here. What do we got? We have the top shoulder pads we haven't done yet. I need to do those in gray, so we'll grab this base coat color again and do that. Use the table just as a rest, kind of. Just real softly paint towards the direction of gravity. That's a good thing to remember when you're painting machines. If you're playing, like, let's say you're painting an aircraft. If this was the nose, this front area here, if this is the way the plane was facing, so let's say the plane is flying that way, the airflow is going to be going this way here. And you'll want to paint that direction. So let's say I was painting this aircraft, say this was an aircraft and I was painting that way. I would want to paint this way and pull back, because the airflow is going to be pushing water and liquids and all kinds of other things like that over the wingtips. So you'll want to get that kind of effect. You want to get that, especially when you're weathering. Especially when you're weathering. If you don't do that while you're weathering, the effects will be all wrong and it will not look real. It won't look authentic. And so try to remember that. Like right now I'm painting, you saw I started from the middle, painted down, and I'm painting down this way. That's exactly what you're after. Since this is the direction of gravity, like in that case of the aircraft, the direction of airflow, I'm painting down instead of going all one way. So that's going to need another coat in a little bit. Right now we'll do the other side. This side's much easier. It's kind of difficult getting around that bolt and doing this, the bottom half. But this side is much easier. It's angled forward, kind of. Project is moving right along quite nicely also. Like I said before, I really like this color. I think it looks really great on this kind of surface, on the metal, and I think it complements the overall idea of the model really well. Really gives it that look of grit and kind of, it just merely makes it look like it's kind of like a guerrilla style of things. It looks kind of, maybe not mainstreamed or streamlined, doesn't look proper. And it's weird to say that it doesn't look proper because it looks great, but it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know the word I'm trying to say. Somebody right now is probably screaming at their screen, "This is the word you're thinking of," but it's okay. Post it in the comments if you know. Hit this one more time, and then get the back half. Kind of tilt it as best I can so you can see. Because if you're watching this video and you're not seeing anything, that kind of defeats the purpose. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do the other side now that it's had some time to dry, and I'll come back as I'm doing that. Thanks, guys. Cheers.